I keep getting tied up on other things and it slips by, but I gotta go ahead and make that happen. Okay, we should be good on all three. I apologize, especially to all the TikTokers. She doesn't think he's innocent. Yeah, Christy, and people are also telling me, and again, this is just these sources. I don't know how reliable they are. Jason Hare, the sources are extremely reliable. I'm almost positive that's true. I'm also getting word from quite a few people that Oakman has decided to name Nick Smith their new chief as soon as he leaves the sheriff's office in January. Now, again, I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, well, and back to the Stapletons. Yeah, he knows something on her. She's a lot more dark. She's a lot darker than you realize, than people realize. She is a lot darker than I thought from the beginning. Well, and up until not too long ago, honestly, when I started finding out other things and putting things together. She's It's not a coincidence they ended up together. So, as far as the A Post and Nick Smith, they have not taken it yet, but that's another thing I've been told by a very reliable source that they are. I think they're just waiting on his criminal case to go through. Hey, Laura, how are you? And Facebook people, I apologize. I've been trying to get on for the last hour and was having major issues, but we're here now. But yeah, Brittany is just as sick as him. And I'll tell you one thing about Brittany. There is nothing she won't try to do. Nothing. She will do everything humanly possible to try to discredit you, take you down, ruin your life, as she says. And she's not kidding. Hey, Laura K. What's my thoughts on Mark Moon? So, and I talked about this a little bit Wednesday night. I'm glad he stepped down. That was the right move. In fact, when I called him out over the inappropriate relationship with the informant, that's what I said. That, I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's some terribly corrupt sheriff. I have no evidence of that other than that one incident. But that one incident is something you cannot do. So, and the fact that he did step down, I have tons of respect for him for that. I'll give you when you cross a line that you absolutely can't, there's no going back. And when you accept that and do the right thing and step down like he did, I mean, I have to respect that. The it's the opposite of Nick Smith. And that's what I was saying the other night. Nick Smith and Mark Moon are nothing alike. I mean, apples and oranges. What Mark Moon is doing right now is what Nick Smith should have done over a year ago. And if he would have, he would still have a little respect from some people, but nothing was going to make him step down. And like Mark Moon said in a statement about stepping down, that it was affecting his family, and that's more important. And again, I respect that because I'm sure it is. And it's obvious he cares about his family. Nick Smith doesn't, because Nick Smith's family went through this hell as long as it's been going on. I mean, his kids getting bullied at school, online. I mean, and he didn't care. He was not going to step down no matter how bad he knew he was. And so a big difference. I have zero respect for Nick Smith and never will. I have respect for Mark Moon for the way he handled this. But again, he did something you cannot do in law enforcement, much less a sheriff. You cannot cross that line. And he did. There's a lot of mistakes you can make that are pretty bad, but you can come through them. But that one's not one you can. What's up, table flipper? What do you think about, or what do I think about all the stupidity in Tarrant? I don't know what's going on in Tarrant. Oh, I'm not familiar with any of the Tarrant stuff. Now, have y'all seen this idiot? I think it has something to do with Tarrant, maybe. Maybe it's where he lives. That this meth head that points a weapon at his mom, cusses her. I mean, he's a grown man. Talks to her like she's, worse than a dog. The first time I saw one of the videos about it, I thought it was like a skit. I thought it was a joke, but then I started realizing I don't think it is. And if it's real, he should have been in jail. You can't do. That's menacing at the least in Alabama. And the fact that he did it on video, it's all the evidence you need. I'm trying to see if I can pull that up. Leah, When what happens, does the department collect your cell phone? Oh, Lee, I just saw your other one about your cousin. I'm so sorry about that. That's horrible. N- Update on Bess. That is one thing I'm gonna talk about um, tonight. It's nothing crazy. It's not some major update, but there's a little update. Amber Secrets True Crime podcast posted about it yesterday or day before. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Lewingo, what are you talking about? Did I miss something else? Oh, by the way, I've been getting some complaints and I completely understand them. And I'm going to try to do better. If I ever say something that sounds like I'm just having a random conversation with someone and you're like, where did that come from? What are you talking? That's me talking to someone on my team. And we're chatting through Discord and they'll say something, and to save me from having to type back, I'll just say it out loud. So I know that's confusing some people, and I do apologize. A year ago, and his cell phone has vanished into thin air. Was it his personal cell phone, like not a department issued cell phone? If it was his personal cell phone, then no, they should give that back. I mean, unless if there's some kind of criminal case, like if someone's being charged for his life being taken, then yes, it could be. Uh, it could be evidence still until that case is over. But if not, then no, they should give that back. Kristen, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I saw your message. I responded to you the other night, and then I got sidetracked, and I just now thought about it again when you said that. If you don't have my cell number, Kristen, I'm going to send that to you. And anytime you need anything else, just text me, because I get so many messages on the platforms, especially TikTok. I I'll miss 5 or 10 in a day, but I apologize. And if there's any way I can still help you with that, I definitely will. His personal cell phone. There's no criminal charge. He hydroplaned. Yeah, she needs to. His family, like, I'm guessing he wasn't married since you're talking about his mom. But yeah, his mom needs to go up there and ask for that, because no, they shouldn't keep that. They shouldn't keep any personal property. Now, again, if there could be a civil case involved and they may be keeping it for that until that's over. Because no matter what, if a police officer on duty has an accident involving another vehicle, the police officer and the agency is going to get sued. That's 100% of the time. No matter whose fault it was, I mean, no matter what. And so it's possible there's a civil suit going on. Yeah, and they probably did settle. If it was technically his fault, then they probably did settle already. But yeah, they should give the cell phone back. There's no need in them keeping that. The latest on Tony Keenan? I guess not. Because I didn't know there was any new updates on it. So learning quick about some of the cops in T-Town. Yeah, I'll send you my number and we'll talk about it. Did I see Alabama had an execution last night? I didn't, but my son told me about it. Apparently, they were talking. His teacher, one of his teachers, I guess his social studies teacher, was talking about it in class to them because I remember him saying that when I picked him up from school. Okay, yeah, no, I've not seen CC's post from today, so I'll check that out. The ethics commission is coming after him. A lot of people need to be coming after him. It was a 2021 case? Are you sure? There are so many mandatory appeals that have to go through on a death sentence. I don't see how that would even be possible. No, in Alabama, the all the executions are taking place at Holman Correctional Facility in Atmore, Alabama. That's where they have death row, and that's where they have the chambers, I guess, whatever you call them. Used to have the chair, now I guess you call it the chamber. I don't know. Yes, he was put last night, so they need to do that to everyone on death. I can't agree with you there. I used to think that way until I started realizing how many people just the state of Alabama has put to death that we later found out was innocent. It's a staggering number. Now, if there's absolutely no doubt that they're guilty, then I'm all for it. But and if it's not like that, then they need to go through all the appeals they possibly can, because could you imagine being put on death row and you were completely innocent and then being put to death? Like, could you imagine that? And I can't even remember how many in the United States as a whole that they know for a fact was innocent, but it's a lot. But Alabama has not been good at that. And a lot of those came from false confessions. Saying if they are convicted and proven the death, well, yeah, but all the ones that we've put to death that ended up being innocent were convicted and proven. That's what I'm saying. They were all convicted, obviously, and put on death row, and then years later. But no, I'm by the way, this has absolutely nothing to do with whoever they put to death last night. I don't know that. I don't know who that was. I haven't looked yet or anything. So I'm just talking about it in general. To me, that's something that should never happen, ever. And the fact that it has happened so many times means we have a problem. Now, my opinion for child predators, again, that are convicted, that those, is especially those where there's no doubt. And a lot of times there's not because there's electronic evidence to go along with it. And like y'all were talking about the man from last night that apparently he recorded some of it. Child predators do that a lot. And so when there's that kind of evidence on a child predator, they should be put to death. 100%. Because that's the only criminal that we know we can't fix. That's the only type that we know can't be rehabilitated at all. And it's one of the only ones that we don't send to death row. And that the system screwed up. It's backwards in that. Oh, so he was a predator, essayed and killed a. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Laura, I agree with you on death sentences is not necessarily a good thing for a lot of people. Now, again, there's no doubt, no question about it. The mom sold the girl. So it was a human trafficking thing too. I'm sure I've heard about this case. I'll have to look at the details to. What just happened? Mother of the Homeland. Go to my website, agentdbaker.com. Agentdbaker.com. And there's a contact button. You can't miss it. And you just put your name, email address, and a message, and tell me, let us know that you're interested in coming on the being a guest on the podcast, and kind of a quick, short synopsis of what you want to talk about, and we'll get back with you. Yeah, message us, Sienna. I completely agree with you, Miranda. Miranda said, "I don't believe predators should not be able to plea out." I think you mean you don't believe predators should be able to plea out for less time. But yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, look at Timothy Vest Benton. If you've not been following that, I just did a couple more short podcast on it this past week, or within the past 2 weeks. He was originally indicted on 48 charges, over 10 different victims, young boys, over 10 different ones. And the district attorney, Andy Hamlin, let him plea down to 2 charges. So he only got sentenced to 17 years. That should not happen. And his was those, there's no doubt. All of his. And then the judge wants to blame it on him having a TBI, not making that up, and talking about how he has cognitive issues. Well, he did when he was doing those crimes, because his charges included threats, intimidation, because after he would do what he did to the little boys, he would threaten them. Hey, if you tell anyone, I'm going to take your life. He doesn't have any cognitive issues. Did I see where Amber wrote a letter to see if he was a trustee at the jail? I didn't, but I think she and I have talked about it, and we, from what we believe is pretty reliable sources, he is not, unless something has changed in the last few days. Sarah says I can confirm he is not. And again, I know I was told from a pretty reliable source that he is not. Now, doesn't mean he's not. But if we find out he is, and we were lied to by those sources that definitely should know and not be lying to us, then that's going to be a whole other issue. Also asking about him having outside food brought in. So I saw some comments on that, and that was the first I'd seen of that or heard of that. So Amber is finding out about that. That better not be true. But the fact that Timothy Vest Benton's not back in prison is as good of evidence as you could ever need to know there's deep corruption going on there. Because I think I put it in the last podcast I did on it too, and then I've read it on the lives a few times in the last few weeks. The judge's own order said, I mean, it's very clear. If he violates any of those terms, he is to immediately go back to prison and spend the rest of his time there. And that hasn't happened. It's been over a year. And if Judge Samuel Junkin is not being investigated, that's a big problem too. Now, I have reason to believe that he is being investigated. I don't know. I can't say that that's a fact because I don't know it as a fact. I'll say from a pretty reliable source. I've heard that, but it's not something I would put a lot of money on, but I believe there's a good chance of it anyway. I agree, Christy. And if there's anyone on here that lives in Fayette County, this is specifically something you need to ask the man that's running for sheriff. Ask him. I would specifically ask him, how do you feel about all this? And see what he says. If he says he don't want to comment on it, then I wouldn't vote for him. Now, I don't think he would say that. I have respect for him. But people can change. I hope he hasn't. By the way, completely off subject. I'm a huge Yellow Wolf fan, by the way. And when I was growing up, I was the biggest Sublime fan ever. Yellow Wolf and Sublime are having a concert in Tuscaloosa at the Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater September the 18th. I will, without a doubt, be there. Like that's like my dream come true as a very young teenager. I could quote every single word to every Sublime song right now still. No doubt. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. The man running for sheriff is Vest's aunt's best friend. They're together all the time. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know about that. I have no reason to doubt you on that, but until Ernest proves me wrong, then I refuse to believe that he's a bad guy at all. I've specifically worked along with him for 4 or 5 years. Now, again, people change. I just really hope he hasn't. Yellow Wolf is from no, he's not from Gadsden. He is from Inslee. Yeah, Bessemer, Inslee area. From the hood. James said, I've missed your last few lives. Do you have any update on any of the charges against Samuel Bentley or any of the ramp people that have charges coming? Not necessarily any crazy updates. I think grand jury is coming up pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken, and that's when Bentley's all his charges will be presented to grand jury. So we'll know after that, and I think that's pretty soon, but I'm not 100% sure, or I'm not 100% sure exactly when it is, but I think it's pretty soon. Y'all are killing my ADD tonight because I'm all over the place with all the different questions, and I cannot stay on track of what I was doing. Okay. Let's see. I want to bring this up. Give me one quick, about 30 seconds here. Pull up Secrets True Crime Podcast, Amber Sitton's page here on Facebook. If you're not following her, by the way, make sure you go follow her. You are seriously missing out. But I saw this she just posted. So this is a search party tomorrow for those of you in Alabama and around the Birmingham area. Search party tomorrow, Saturday morning, for Mr. Glenn. Search party is being organized tomorrow morning to help find Mr. Glenn, known as Mo. Saturday morning at 7 a.m., obviously Central Time. Meeting place at Little Caesars in Alabaster. Anyone who can help search is asked to bring water, snacks, and comfortable shoes. If you have seen Mr. Glenn or have any information about where he may be, please contact the Alabaster Police Department. Share, especially with anyone in the Alabaster area. So I'm not familiar with this missing person, but if anyone that's around that area, and if there's any way possible you can go assist in the morning, that would be awesome, and I'm sure they would appreciate that. And I apologize, I don't know any of the details as far as how long he's been missing or anything, but was that what's that character's ogre? Is that an ogre? Sorry, that was real mean. I saw that picture. And that's the first thing I thought about. Here we go. Here's the details, and then we'll get back to what we're talking about. Glenn Spence, missing from Alabaster, Alabama, who is affectionately known as Mo, mentally disabled and in the early stages of dementia. According to the Alabaster Police Department, Glenn was last seen around 7 p.m. on August the 13th, walking around the Southbrook Village shopping center where Crunch Fitness and Little Caesars are located. I don't feel good about this one. Glenn is a familiar face around Alabaster and is often seen walking between the shopping center and Simsville Road. He usually wears a bright yellow safety jacket. So I'm guessing he doesn't have a car and he walks. I hope they find him safe. Okay, so here's the post I wanted to see. Oh, I cropped that out a little too much. Over the past several days, I've received complaints and information from multiple people in the Fayette County community about the treatment Timothy Vest Benton is allegedly receiving while incarcerated in the Fayette County Jail. Those concerns include claims that Benton is being given special privileges associated with inmate trustee status and that outside food is being brought into the jail for him. I have sources in the community telling me these things are happening, but rather than present those claims as established fact, the best way to get answers is to go straight to the source. Government is supposed to be open and accountable to the people it serves. Public records laws exist so citizens can see how their government operates, while its policies are, and whether those policies are being applied. What its policies are, and whether those policies are being applied consistently. So this morning, I sent a public records request to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. I asked for the jail's policies governing inmate trustees, including eligibility, disqualifications, and the privileges trustees receive. I also requested records showing whether Benton has been designated as a trustee or has been given the same or similar privileges regardless of what they are called. I requested the jail's policy on outside food and records showing whether food has been brought in or accepted for Benton, and if so, who brought it in. I also requested the policies governing inmate classification and housing assignments. I'm posting the request so you can read exactly what I asked for. If the information circulating in the community is wrong, the records should help clear that up. If it's accurate, the records should help establish that too. Either way, there's no reason to guess when we can ask for the documentation, let the record speak for themselves. And if you want to read that letter, like I said, that's on Secrets True Crime podcast page. If I can, here we go. So you can't miss her page. But yeah, and if you're not following her already, again, go follow. You're missing out on a lot. She's awesome. And this is the kind of people you should follow and listen to. You don't have to worry about Amber stating something as fact and then it end up not being fact. If she says it's fact, it's fact. And this is proof. Like, she doesn't just throw things around. She finds out, she goes to the source, and that's hard to find these days. You believe Wednesday it's supposed to be 100 degrees. It was 100 degrees today. Who is Benton's attorney? Uh, I'll have to look. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Did anyone see where ALDOC, which is the Alabama Department of Corrections, is going tobacco free? These inmates going to go off the deep end? It should have been tobacco free years ago. It's crazy that it wasn't. We're paying for their health care. I don't like to pay for someone's health care that doesn't want to take care of themselves. Lisa, Secrets True Crime Podcast on Facebook. That's the name of the page, is Secrets True Crime Podcast. She has an awesome podcast as well, obviously, but she posted a lot of solid information daily. Do they have to reply to that letter? Yes. FOIA request, they have to reply back with something. They can deny giving you the answering the questions, but they have to reply back. They have to respond back to it in some way. And who's to say it will be answered truthfully? I mean, that's a very good point. We'll just have to wait and see. What kind of music is Yellow Wolf play? Rap. He's the second best white rapper. Well, I think he's Native American, but sometimes the full story isn't always being told. What are you talking about, Charles? Sarah, and I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just legit wondering, do you can you can you tell us your source? Like, maybe not a name, but I'm just curious. Yeah, that told you he wasn't a trustee. Munchies, are you coming? Are you going to be in Tuscaloosa on September the 18th for the Yellow Wolf Sublime concert? Because I will be there. About the Hansel ordeal? I know what you're talking about, but we haven't talked about that tonight. I didn't, and I'm not trying to be a smartass. I just didn't know if you misunderstood what we were talking about. I don't know a lot about the Hansel thing, like as far as I've not dug into it too deep. You don't do crowds. Well, I understand that. I may have to go live from the Yellow Wolf concert. Yellow Wolf's got a good song called Till It's Gone. He's got a lot of good songs. That is one of his best, though. I wish we could play his music right now. I'd play it. Hey, Katie, how are you? We've discussed the Timothy Vest Benton, the child predator in Fayette, with the corruption going on there. We've discussed that a little bit. We've discussed, what else have we discussed? I was telling you, I'm very pumped and excited about Yellow Wolf and Sublime are playing in Tuscaloosa at the amphitheater September the 18th. Two of my favorite bands of all time. So your source is somebody on the, and that's what I was wondering. I appreciate you answering. The jail admin. I don't know about special privileges. I haven't asked about that. I asked about trustee last week, and I think that's what Amber was hinting at in her letter, because I've been told straight up, no, he's not a trustee, and that was by a reliable source. So the problem may be he's not a trustee on paper, but he's getting the same special privileges. I'm not saying that's true. Again, Amber's doing her best to find out for sure, but that is a possibility. Well, yes, Katie, you are amazing. I agree with you. Oh, that was the Shrek looking guy and the blonde lady on. Okay, I see. I see. Mom flip. Yeah. We was discussing Timothy Vest Benton, which out of Fayette County, Alabama. He was he is a child predator, convicted child predator, and sentenced to 17 years, which was not even close to being enough. He should have been sentenced to life for his crimes he committed. 10 separate victims, all young boys. Horrible things to them, then threatened their life after. Then after 5 years, randomly, a circuit court judge, Samuel Junkin, literally just let him out of prison. No reason whatsoever. Let him out of prison. Didn't tell anyone. Put him on house arrest. Some of the victims' families found out about it, started screaming about it. Some of them notified me. I started screaming about it. And that's been close to a year ago now. But anyway, he's still not back in prison, even though he's already he immediately violated his terms of his release. And there's a corrupt circuit court judge. Samuel Junkin is a corrupt judge. I'll say that again. Samuel Junkin is corrupt. He is a criminal, and he should be in federal prison. And I hope that's where he goes. And his little buddy, Andy Hamlin, the district attorney for that circuit, corrupt. Andy Hamlin, you are corrupt, and you know you are. And I've known that ever since I watched you in a hearing completely lie throughout the entire hearing. It was a plea deal. The district attorney, so he was indicted. He was originally indicted on 48 counts. Everything from human trafficking to sodomy. I mean, all across everything. And Andy Hamlin, the district attorney, let him plea down to 2 charges. From 48 to 2. 10 separate victims. So he at least should have had at least 10 charges. At least. Or convictions. But no, 2. Yeah, the family either paid Junkin off, or they have blackmail on him. One or the other. Will Andy be investigated? I doubt it. I doubt it. But whoever decides to run against either one of them in the next election, when they're up for re-election, I will work for you the entire campaign. I will knock on doors for you. I will put out signs for you, hand out signs. I will give you money. I will literally do help in any way I possibly can. Hopefully the judge is in federal prison by then and we won't have to worry about him, but we'll see. Yeah, Mama, that's what we were discussing. We've heard all those rumors as well, and Amber with Secrets True Crime Podcast had made a post today where she has filed a FOIA in a letter written to Fayette County Sheriff's Office asking those exact questions, so to see if we can get some answers. Now, I've asked a reliable source straight up, and they were very quick to say, no, he is not a trustee. Doesn't mean he's not, but I hope it's not true. Or he just may not be a trustee on paper, but he's still getting all the privileges of a trustee. Either way, it can be happening. The stupidity. All right, let me say this. If either one of those things is happening, and again, I'm not saying they are, I hope they're not. But if either one of those things are happening, the stupidity of whoever approved that blows my mind. Like, you think we're not going to find out and call you out? And anyone that approves something like that, no doubt in my mind, you're a child predator too. Why else would you cater to somebody like that? Maybe he's got some boyfriends in there. I would not doubt it. At this point, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. The most blatant corruption I've ever seen from a circuit court judge. Well, the sheriff's not running in the upcoming election. He has announced he is leaving. Some shady shit going on in Fayette County. Yerby, from what I've been told, is not seeking re-election now. But he didn't announce that till very late. Very shady. All of it. You haven't heard or been told that? Well, you know, Ronnie Ernest is running for sheriff. He didn't announce he was running until Yerby said he wasn't. Again, now that's what I've been told. It's possible I'm wrong, but I don't know why. Who told me that would have told me that if it wasn't true. He's running against him? Maybe I'm getting things mixed up. I may be getting it mixed up with Blount County and Mark Moon, now that y'all are saying that. But there was something. That's what it was. Ernest didn't announce till after the primary. But Ernest works for Yerby, correct? So Ernest is running as he's having to run as a write-in, correct? Oh, Ernest works for the DA. Okay, that makes more sense. I did not realize that. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I think I was getting mixed up with Mark Moon and Blount County because I've been talking about both of them and researching both of them, investigating both at the same time, and I get them mixed up sometimes. But yeah, I did not realize Ernest worked for the DA. I thought he worked for the sheriff's office. Has he ever did when he first retired from Tuscaloosa? Did he work for the sheriff's office, or has he always worked for the DA since he got up there? Oh, so my goodness, he's okay. I didn't realize he had went to all three. So that's why I thought he worked for the sheriff's office, because I remember when he first retired from here, he went to work for the sheriff's office up there. I didn't realize he had left. So he worked for the sheriff's office, then the city, and then now the DA. Okay. Yeah, I mean, no, I know. I worked with him at Tuscaloosa. Yeah, I knew he retired from Tuscaloosa, and then I'm guessing he's originally from Fayette. And then, because I remember seeing that he went to work for the sheriff's office, and then I didn't realize he didn't work for the sheriff's office anymore. Thank y'all for correcting me, by the way. Oh, what's up, Brian? I forgot to speak to you when I first saw you comment earlier. Yeah, I know Junkin recused himself. I've read the recusal 100 times on here. Why the judge? I don't know what you mean by that. Wouldn't the fault be in the district attorney allowing the plea deal? Yeah, for the plea deal. But what happened is he took a plea. He pled down to 2 charges and pled guilty, and then was sentenced to 17 years in DOC. 5 years into his sentence, Judge Junkin literally out of the blue. No one had filed any motions. Nothing had been filed. And out of the blue, Judge Junkin throws in a release order, releasing him from DOC and placing him in community corrections on house arrest. Like literally out of nowhere. There was nothing filed, nothing. He was trying to do it under the radar. He was trying to do it hoping nobody would notice. No one was notified. None of the victims' families was notified. Nope, nobody. Again, and in the judge's recusal letter that he wrote later, he literally says that as well. He's like, I made this decision completely on my own without any input from anyone. There's a bunch of problems with it. Number one, there's no way in hell that a circuit court judge was sitting there in his office one day and randomly, out of nowhere, thought, you know what? That Benton guy that's serving 17 years, I need to let him out on house arrest. And he wrote the order up. That is what the judge wants us to believe. There's not one person that believes that. That's not what happened. For there not to have been anything filed by Benton's attorneys, nothing, and then the judge just out of the blue did it. He was either paid off or Benton's family blackmailed him. And the judge swears in his recusal letter that he did not speak with Benton's family before that. That's a lie. Again, he didn't just dream any of that up by himself. That didn't happen. And he should have to answer to it. And his recusal letter was the biggest BS I've ever seen. No, nobody sweet talked him into that. Sweet talk didn't make him do that. Money or blackmail made him do that. And I don't know which one it was, but it was one of them. There is a third possibility. And I'm not trying to be funny. None of it makes any sense anyway. So there is a third possibility. Third possibility is Junkin and Benton have an intimate relationship. Now, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So it's one of those three things. I forgot the other thing I was looking on her page for, because she's who posted the. And again, anyone that wants to read the full letter that Amber sent Fayette County, go on her page, on her Facebook page, and she's got it there. Oh, did y'all see this? Y'all know one of my pet peeves is people acting like ChatGPT is fact. Anyone that's been following me for any amount of time, you know that. It drives me insane. that there's so many people that think that. Hold on, let me get this cropped out a little too much still. This is completely off subject, but I saw this and I wanted to talk about it. Yesterday, a federal judge formally reprimanded attorney Scott Thomas Morrow over false case citations and quotations in court filings in a lawsuit filed on behalf of Priceville police officer Gary Chapman, the son of Dwayne Dog the Bounty Hunter Chapman. According to the judge's order, 2 of the cases cited in one of the filings didn't even exist. Morrow told the court that his client, Chapman, who does not have a law degree, researched and drafted the brief while acting as a paralegal. Morrow also said allowing clients to draft legal documents is part of his normal practice. This is why you research before getting an attorney, before paying an attorney. This is why. This is why you don't take the cheap route when you need an attorney. This is what you get. This guy's a complete idiot. Because, number one, this is not what happened. He let ChatGPT write his orders up. And as I've said 1,000 times before, ChatGPT, if it doesn't have a good answer for you, it will literally make stuff up. That's what happened. ChatGPT made up 2 citations that don't even exist. And the idiot didn't even check his work. This is horrible. But again, this is why you don't take the cheapest attorney. And this is why you research. Don't just run out and get an attorney. You cannot use AI as a source. You use AI as a tool, not a source. There's a big difference. Now, you can use Secrets True Crime Podcast as a source. I do it all the time. So this is the update she posted yesterday about Vess Benton's case. Alabama Attorney General's office opposes Timothy Vess Benton's request to reduce a $1 million bond because he's currently in on a $1 million bond. Although he shouldn't have a bond at all, he shouldn't be in Fayette County Jail. He should be back in prison. Benton's attorney filed a motion Wednesday arguing that he is a longtime Fayette County resident, is not a flight risk, and cannot afford the $1 million bond. Well, I hate that for him. The motion also claims Benton has been on home detention for approximately a year and has been in strict compliance with the conditions. Jesus Christ. I didn't realize it said this. I just glanced through it yesterday when I saw it. What an ignorant thing to say. has been in strict compliance with the conditions of his house arrest. No, he hasn't. That's literally what his charges came from, because he wasn't in compliance. Did an attorney really say this? Oh my God. Jesus. Oh my goodness. The Attorney General's office filed its opposition today, and prosecutors painted a very different picture. The state pointed back to Benton's original case, noting that he was indicted on 48 charges involving 5 minor children. 25 of those charges, according to the filing, involved actual violence against minor children. Benton ultimately pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree sodomy as part of a plea agreement, and the other 46 charges were dismissed. Prosecutors also emphasized that the 2 sodomy convictions involved violence, intimidation, and threats against 2 minor victims. Then they turned to what happened after Benton was allowed to leave prison. Judge Samuel Junkin transferred Benton from the DOC into community corrections in June of 2025. The state argues that even with additional supervision and restrictions, Benton is now accused of committing the 2 SORNA violations that led to his latest indictment. The Attorney General's office told the court that those additional conditions did not deter the defendant from committing the now charged crimes. The state is also directly challenging Benton's argument that $1 million is excessive. Prosecutors noted that Benton had the same $1 million bond in 2017 when he had no criminal record. He now has 2 felony convictions and is accused of violating the law while still serving his sentence through community corrections. The Alabama Attorney General's office is asking the judge to deny Benton's request for a bond reduction. Benton remains in the Fayette County Jail on a $1 million bond while the 2 SORNA charges move forward. He is presumed innocent of the new charges unless they're proven guilty. Now, he has been indicted on the 2 charges. But I'm telling y'all, the fact that he is not in prison is, I mean, I don't know. I don't even have words for it. And knowing let me tell you something about Judge Samuel Junkin, the same judge that did this. There was a black man in Pickens County, Alabama, that was pulled over on a traffic stop. He wasn't from Alabama. He was traveling through the state, coming from, I think, Arizona or something. I don't know. Whatever state he lived in, and was going maybe to Georgia. I don't remember. But anyway, he was just traveling through the state. Pulled over, got arrested for the green leafy substance. Junkin made him sit in a county jail for over 5 years. For over 5 years on an extremely high bond. No matter what, would not let him out. Over the green leafy substance. That man was a veteran. And he sat in the county jail for over 5 years. Case never even went to trial. Then you have Benton, served 5 years for the most horrific crimes you could commit. and he let him out with no reasoning whatsoever. Same district attorney, Andy Hamlin, same judge, Samuel Junkin. Then, and I'm not going to go back through the whole other case because I went through all of that the other night. But Marquise Gunner out of Lamar County. So Junkin and Hamlin are the DA and circuit court judge for the 24th Judicial Circuit of Alabama. And that circuit covers Lamar County, Fayette County, and Pickens County. So they cover 3 counties. So then we have Marquise Gunner out of Lamar County just this past year. In his apartment, he's 18 years old, in his apartment with his mother. Mother's ex-boyfriend breaks in the apartment, attacks mother. Marquise grabs a firearm he had from his closet. Then mother's boyfriend was blocking Marquise and his mother from getting out of the apartment. He was standing in front of the door, or he was standing in the living room area. They were in the kitchen area, very small apartment. They were trying to get away from him. He wasn't letting them. Then he starts rushing towards them again. Marquise shoots him. Just shot him in the leg. Guy, I mean, he still got like a limp, but nothing life-threatening. Marquise didn't run or anything. He immediately turned himself in. I mean, he was defending himself and his mother. Andy Hamlin charged him for that. And they put him in jail on, you guessed it, $1 million bond. And they made Marquise, who had never in his life been in trouble. I had his previous principal calling me, previous teachers, great student, had never been in trouble. Not one person ever said a bad thing about him, said he's a great, like he doesn't deserve this. Junkin and Hamlin would not let him out of jail on bond. I was at the bond reduction hearing after he had been sitting in there a year. Hamlin, the district attorney, got up throughout the entire hearing and lied nonstop, saying that Marquise Gunner was a danger to society, that if they let him out, he would for sure recommit and hurt someone. He was a violent person. And that he shot the ex-boyfriend with a stolen weapon. And he specifically said stolen firearm 100 times at least. I'm not exaggerating, throughout the hearing. Problem with that is it wasn't stolen. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears in person, I wouldn't believe it. But I was there. I watched it. Junkin denied bond reduction because Marquise Gunner was the most dangerous human to ever live, is the way they put it. Two days later, Andy Hamlin, the district attorney, runs to Marquise in the county jail and says, if you'll plead guilty to a felony, I'll let you out of jail today. And Marquise, at that point, was defeated. I'm not judging him for accepting the deal because he just wanted out of jail, and I get that. And so he accepted it, and they let him out. But I thought he was a danger. I thought he was just this most violent person ever. I guess if you plead guilty to a felony, you're not dangerous anymore. I guess that's all it takes. Obviously, that's not the case. But for a district attorney to lie throughout an entire hearing on record, and he's never had to answer for that. Marquise, black male. Vess Benton, white male. Same skin color as Junkin and Hamlin. I do not throw the word racist around lightly. If I accuse someone of being racist, then I have full proof of like legit racism. I have it on them too. We have gone back and researched tons of Junkin's sentences. And there is a very, very clear pattern of if you're black, you get the harshest sentences. If you're white, you get nothing almost. That's going on right now in the 24th Circuit of Alabama. And nobody's doing anything about it. I've sent all my evidence to the right people. We did all the research. We put it together. Nobody's doing anything. So tell me, how can this be going on right now in 2026 in Alabama and nobody do anything about it? It's a disgrace. And only get sentenced to 17 years. And even after everything that we have done, after everything, I mean, we've protested on the courthouse stairs at Fayette County. I've made as many podcasts as I can about this. I've talked about it on lives as many times as I possibly can. And he's still not back in prison. I get so freaking pissed off every time I think about it and talk about it. And Judge Junkin's excuse is Benton got a TBI in a bad car wreck accident in 2016. Then a year later, he committed these horrible crimes. Has to be because of his TBI. Not because he's evil. For a judge to even put that in writing shows you how ignorant Judge Junkin is. But he did. Along with some other just most ridiculous excuses I've ever seen. District attorneys, circuit court judges in Alabama have zero oversight. None. And this is a prime example of that. When they have no one to answer to, they do whatever the hell they want. If you're an incumbent circuit court judge in Alabama, it is extremely rare for you to get beat in an election, no matter what. It rarely, ever happens. Same thing for a district attorney. They know that. They know people are too lazy to go vote. So once they get in, they know they can do whatever the hell they want to. And that's exactly what these two do. And they're partners in it. And it just makes me wonder, who's going through this right now? I guarantee you there's somebody right now on the bad end of them. And there's somebody else that's on the good end of them. Because one of them's white and one of them's black. He should have served all 17 consecutively. He was supposed to. That's what his sentence was. And we're digging right now trying to find out if Judge Junkin even had jurisdiction over letting him out, if he even had the authority to, because it kind of looks like he didn't. But we're trying to find out for sure. I've done 2 podcasts on this story in the last 2 weeks or week. Please go on all my platforms. They're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Facebook, TikTok. I don't think I've put them on X, but I'm going to put them on X. Every single one of those platforms that you're on, please go to my page and share those. Comment on them, share them, like them. That's what helps push them out. The algorithm push them out and to bring more awareness to this case. For some reason, those videos that I did get the least amount of views. That's not a coincidence. There's no doubt in my mind that the platforms suppress them. There's no doubt. The videos I do on this case get maybe a fourth of the views that anything else I do does. But y'all can help that a little bit. Like I said, repost them, share them, try to get those up where this can. We just need one of those to go viral across the entire United States, and for to get in front of the right person to go, whoa, what the hell is going on here? This is crazy. That's what we need. It's sadly the common sentencing anymore. I cover Ohio news, and all these cases are like in the same. No, you're right. I mean, I don't know what I mean, I don't understand it. And here's the thing. This is what really pisses me. I'm sorry, but I'm about to get fired up. This is what really pisses me off. I could go up to anybody in the state of Alabama right now and say, what do you think about these child predators getting off so easy like they do? And everyone's going to say, oh, it's horrible. We got to fix this. Alabama just had the chance, the opportunity to send a man to Washington, D.C. as our next senator that literally fights these people every single day. He has dedicated his life to taking down child predators, and he's good at it. And he's a prior Navy SEAL. And Alabama sent the other man to D.C. I don't understand it, and I never will. Outside money from out of state, over $15 million was spent to fight Jared Hudson in this Senate race. Jared Hudson's the man I'm talking about. Over $15 million from out of state funded Barry Moore, his opponent's campaign, so he could win. And there are people in Alabama so ignorant they didn't see it. They're so ignorant they didn't see why is all this money from out of state coming in? Why are they trying everything they possibly can to keep Jared Hudson out of Senate? You know why? It may be because he actually wants to put child predators in prison and not let them off with a pass. But there are too many Alabamians so fucking ignorant. And if you voted for Barry Moore, I'm talking about you. It's just tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. And I try to tell you. I did everything to tell you. And how y'all couldn't see it blows my mind. And you'll be the same ones that act like you're upset that child predators get off easy. Alabama has a history of voting against the best interests of the state. It's because there's a lot of ignorance here. I will never understand how more people didn't see that. It was happening right in front of our face, and I was yelling it and proving it. I was showing the receipts. And what did we do? We sent somebody that's going to be the exact same as we've always had. Not one thing will change. Not one thing. And the same people that voted for Barrymore, the same ones going to be bitching. Why does nothing ever change? I I don't get it, and I never will. God, it pisses me off. There's not more and more child predators these days. It's just people actually know how to investigate it now, and we're a lot better at catching them. Is what it is. The problem is law enforcement does its job, and the courts won't. That's the problem. We can catch them all day, but until the courts decide to actually do the right thing and do what they're supposed to do with it, there's not much else we can do. That's why I would rather. That's why I'm blessed to do what I'm doing now, because I know eventually I will actually be able to make change happen because of you all. The more you all help me grow, the more change I can actually make happen. I mean, we've done some amazing things at the local level already. And so the more we grow, when we can start doing those same things at the national level, it's really going to make a big difference. And that's thanks to you, all of you. I don't know what happened. I just hold on. I just lost my TikTok chat. What the heck happened? There it is. Okay. Is anyone on TikTok commenting, or is something happening with the chat? Because I've not seen a new comment in 10 minutes. Okay, there's okay. Maybe nobody was commenting. It just went from like nonstop to none. So I don't know if something had happened to it. Hey, Tawana, how are you? Yeah, I see you, Shelby. I see you now. We were just listening. No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure. Tawana, I guess I'm good. I don't know. I've gotten fired up tonight. See if there was something else I had on my notes for the night to talk about. So I just got confirmation uh, for those that watched my short podcast I put out earlier today on Jason Hare in Walker County, Alabama, that was possibly going to work for the city of Oakman as the assistant chief, or at least as a police officer. I got confirmation he is. I don't know if he's assistant chief. I'm still trying to find that out, but he has definitely been hired as a police officer and working at Oakman PD. Uh, and I mean, this is so similar to what we're talking about. Sarah, go back and watch my. I did a short video on it today. That's on. It's on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. But so Jason Hare he was the police chief for Cordova Police Department in Walker County, Alabama, and he'd only been there the chief for 4 months, and he actually assaulted an 18-year-old dispatcher that worked for him, and it's on video. I show the video on the podcast that I put out today. I've shown it on lives numerous times too, but it's clear as day. It's horrible. Caught red-handed. And instead of Cordova firing him, making him face criminal charges, they just let him resign. And I said it then. It pissed me off so bad that they let him resign because he did a horrible thing. And then I called for APOS to pull the certifications because that should have definitely happened. Again, it's clear as day on video. Well, that didn't happen. And here we are. What? Coming up on a year later, now Oakman Police Department in Walker County, Alabama has hired him. The city of Oakman has hired him as a police officer. I'm hearing as the assistant chief. I'm still trying to confirm that, but it's been confirmed he is definitely back wearing a badge and a firearm. What in the fuck are we doing? Seriously. What are we doing? The people with the city of Oakman, the city council, mayor, whoever the hell is in charge of hiring him, You should be ashamed, and I hope you're not able to sleep good another night for the rest of your life. Because when he gets his next victim, it's going to be on your hands. Every freaking one of you. When he does it to your daughter, you're probably going to feel a little different. What he did on camera, it's clear as day, is a felony in the state of Alabama. It is sexual abuse. Clear as day. And A Post, not even, they didn't even pull the certifications. He should have gone to jail. And I highly doubt you'll see this on mainstream media news. I'd be very surprised if you do. So, if you're a female, or if you have a daughter, this is crazy. I'm having to say this is absolutely this shows you how crazy this is that I'm having to say this. Don't drive through Oakman, because this is exactly what's going to happen. Mark my words. I'm telling y'all, write this down. This is what's going to happen. He's going to be working a night shift, and he's going to pull over some young teenage girl, and he's going to do horrible things to her. That's going to happen. And when that happens, nobody that was in charge of hiring him is going to have any consequences to face. They're going to say, I mean, we didn't think you'd do it again. How much more evidence do we need? How many more studies and research do we need for everyone to understand and comprehend you cannot rehabilitate predators? You can't. Predators are evil. It's not a lapse in judgment, which is pretty much what the Cordova mayor said about it. It's not a mistake. It's called evil, and you can't fix it. Not on this earth, anyway. It'll be fixed in the next world. Crazy. Unbelievable. I'm also hearing, which I've not verified this yet, but there's definitely a big rumor going around because tons of people were messaging it to me that Nick Smith's going to be the next police chief of Oakman, which at this point wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me, but I've not verified that yet. But Jason Hare is a police officer with the city of Oakman now. So, again, if you're a female or if you have a daughter, and I'm being dead serious, do not let them drive through Oakman. What about Officer Engel that's supposedly there as well? I don't know who that is. I mean, Oakman can't have, how many officers they have? I mean, it can't be more than 3, maybe 4, but watch this. Here, we'll play the video quickly. For those that haven't seen it. Of course, we've got the victim's face blurred out, but you can see what's going on. Watch this. This is a sitting police chief, and this is an 18-year-old girl on her first job. You said she said stop, and she put her hand up. Well, that didn't make him back up. Now he's just leaned over and rubbing his junk on her. It gets worse. That's Jason Hare, the former police chief of. There you go. He is now back in law enforcement. $18-year-old girl, just out straight out of high school, first job ever, just trying to work. And her police chief comes and does that to her. And let me tell you, it's not the first time. That's just the only one we got on camera. That happened in August of 25. So literally a year ago, 1 year ago is when that incident happened. He had only been police chief there for 4 months. So when that happened, the city of Cordova just let him resign. And now, a year later, the city of Oakman has hired him back as what I'm hearing as the assistant chief. Oh, that Engel. Is he working at Oakman now? He's not at the sheriff's office anymore? Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. So Nick Smith was going to hire him back at the Walker County Sheriff's Office 3 or 4 months ago. It was in the works. Thankfully, word got out. Somebody from the inside leaked it. So we started screaming about it. And it stopped it. Oakman snuck this in so quick before anybody knew about it. And that's why. Because they knew if we got word before that would do everything we could to stop it. Well, it's still not too late. He cannot have a badge anymore. This is a disgrace. I mean, this is unbelievable. That it's that, I mean, he caught red-handed. It's clear as day. And he is still a certified law enforcement officer in Alabama. We just had to get a police chief in Blount County, Alabama fired. Well, they let him resign too. But at least we got him out of the office. And Oakman thinks we're just going to let this by? It's not going to happen. So, sounds like we're going to have a peaceful protest in Oakman. So I will get that in the works and we'll make it happen. Or Oakman could fix the problem first. The city of Blountsville fixed the problem first. Because that's what we were about to do. There, we were going to do that. We were going to buy billboards. So, Oakman, the city of Oakman, fix this. It'd save us all a lot of trouble. Fix it. We're not going to shut up about it. We're not going to stop until you fix it. So you might as well fix it now. No, Tammy, exactly. They should not have the choice to resign. They should be fired. But second to no, I wish mainstream media would cover this stuff. They said send a copy to all the local news stations too. They're not going to cover this. Oakman is a very small town in Walker County, Alabama. But I'll show you exactly why Cordova didn't fire him. Because the mayor of Cordova is a predator as well. Let me pull this up for those that haven't seen it. So when that video came out, was leaked, thankfully, because if it had not been leaked, they wouldn't have made him resign. They would have shoved it under the rug. This is what Cordova's mayor, Jeremy Pate, had to say about that incident that we saw on video. Only thing I can say is that nobody wants to be in a position like that. Flesh is weak. People get caught up in stuff sometimes that they don't intentionally or don't necessarily want to do. I'm not making excuses for anybody. I'm just saying everybody gets caught up in situations that aren't good situations. So we need to make sure we're keeping ourselves in positions that are professional and doing the right things. So according to him, Jason Hare, he just got caught up in something. And he didn't even want to do it. He didn't even want to do it. It just happened. He didn't want to. He just got caught up in the situation. He didn't want to be in that position. It just happened. He couldn't help it. Well, one thing is correct. He couldn't help it. In Alabama, and the agency, the town he worked for when he assaulted the girl was Cordova, Alabama, in Walker County, Alabama. The town that just hired him as the assistant chief, or well, they've hired him as a police officer. I'm hearing assistant chief. We are still trying to verify that. Is Oakman, Alabama, another small town in Walker County. But this is the Cordova mayor. You don't think that mayor has touched some people that he shouldn't have? Of course he has. It's the only thing that'd make you say something this ignorant. He's a pervert. He's a predator too. Guarantee you. I guarantee you that mayor's done this exact same thing. That's why he's making all these excuses about Jason Hare. Oh, but he says, I'm not making excuses for anybody. First off, let me tell you a little something about communication and word usage. Anytime someone feels the need to say, I'm not making excuses, they're literally making excuses. That's the only time you'd feel the need to say that. We all do it at times. He makes 3 excuses and he says, I'm not making excuses for anybody. And then he makes 2 more excuses. It's a disgrace. Matthew, I've heard from a lot of people that Nick Smith is headed there too, but I've not been able to verify that yet. But Jason Hare is definitely, it has been confirmed, he is a police officer with the city of Oakman now and has been for a few weeks. I'm still trying to confirm if he is the assistant chief. Yeah. Just like saying I can't comment, but I will say I love the people that get on social media and start their post off with, I'm not one to ever get on here and make a post or comment about something, and then they do it. Yeah, of course, what Hare did was intentional. 100%. And it is comical, the people saying, why didn't she press charges? We're literally talking about the most corrupt county, definitely in the state of Alabama, possibly in the United States. Most corrupt law enforcement everywhere. You want her to press charges against him? And you think that's going to go anywhere? They wouldn't even fire his ass. I don't know. But what I can say is Oakman, fix this or don't, and we'll be up there. And if we have to get billboards, we'll get billboards. Whatever we have to do. Fix the problem. Take a page out of the city of Bluntsville's book. Fix the problem. Exactly. Who is she supposed to press charges with? His best friend, Nick Smith? Literally his best friend? Yeah, exactly. The same county that their coroner has now had well over 20 victims now speak out. Some when they were young children, some when they were older adults, while he was counseling them as their pastor, who just so also happens to be really close friends with Jason Hare and Nick Smith. The stuff that goes on in that county with the officials is nuts. Yeah, the DA has announced he's resigning. But you got mayors that are corrupt there. The city of Oakman's mayor was arrested not long ago for stealing money and for, what else was it? Improper use of, I forgot what exactly the charge was, but the city of Oakman has a BMW, and the mayor just gave it to his daughter, and she was just driving it around as her own car forever. And the city was paying for her gas. So thankfully the state came in and arrested him. And now that same fucking city has hired Jason Hare as the assistant chief. You would think they would learn a little bit, but they didn't. Joey Vick has well more than 20 victims. I guarantee you he has over 100 because he's been doing what he was doing for years. The state police can't investigate a sheriff. I know that's crazy, right? Because the only way the state police can come in and investigate something in a county is if the sheriff of that county asks them to. Well, of course, the sheriff's not going to ask him to come investigate himself. Now, the FBI is investigating him, which is why over 30% of Nick Smith's entire agency, the sheriff's office there, has been federally indicted in the last year and a half. Over 30% of the entire agency. But on a good note, there are changes coming to Walker County because thankfully they're getting a new sheriff. I have a lot of high hopes for him. I've heard a lot of good things about the man, and I have a lot of confidence in him. He's not going to be perfect, and he's not going to be able to change everything overnight, but definitely a step in the right direction, for sure. So they're getting rid of him. Joey Vick, the coroner, is going to be out of office. So they're going to have a new coroner. Unfortunately, as of right now, word on the street, and again, this is just rumors, I've not confirmed this, but word on the street is Nick Smith is going to be Oakman's police chief. Now, also know, I have been told quite a while back, I was told by an extremely reliable source that APOS is going to pull Nick Smith certifications. If they do that, then he can't work in law enforcement anymore. I'm hoping the reason they haven't yet is they're just waiting for his criminal trial, because the district attorney of Walker County did bring charges against the sheriff, thankfully, and his chief deputy. But I mean, they're misdemeanors, but still, it's something. But while he is awaiting the status on that, I'm hoping that's what APOS is waiting on, and as soon as that criminal case is over, then they're going to pull his certifications. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what's happening right now. So they get to know. They said, is all these criminals just going to get shuffled around to other counties and departments and continue their offenses? Yes, what's happening right now. The sad part is, this is another one of my soapboxes. Alabama has a system for law enforcement. It's called Radius, and it's supposed to stop this stuff from happening, but it doesn't work. So what it's doing, it allows the police chiefs and sheriffs to put in an officer's file anything that they are disciplined for, any serious things or anything like that. And if they are forced to resign or if they're fired, it goes into this. And then all the other state agencies, all the other local agencies in the state look in there and see, okay, yeah, we can't hire him. What that's turned into is, I have an inbox full of police officers in the state of Alabama that cannot get hired on at another agency right now because they pissed the wrong person off at their last agency, and that agency put some bullshit in their file. And here's the kicker. You're not allowed to know what's in your file. A police officer in Alabama is not allowed to know what's in that file. So what it's turned into is, Cordova, they didn't put anything bad in Jason Hare's file in Radius. They just let him resign, and they didn't put anything in his file. But you're going to have someone that goes there and is trying to do the right thing when you have a corrupt police chief, and the police chief's going to run you off, and they're going to put something bad in your Radius file, and you're not going to be able to get hired anymore. Can y'all see how this is screwed up? That's what's going on right now in the state of Alabama. It is completely screwed up. First off, a police officer should absolutely have the right to know what's in their file, because they should have the right to defend themselves. But they don't. So what that system has done, it's keeping really good officers out of law enforcement and letting the bad ones stay. It's crazy. That problem could easily be fixed, and they won't fix it. I don't understand it. Yeah, the radius system is not working. I mean, that's obvious. And again, I have tons of law enforcement in my inboxes saying, I can't get hired at another agency. I've never gotten in serious trouble at all. And my last agency put something in my radius file, but I don't even know what it is, so I can't defend myself. I don't see how that's legal. I think I just got kicked off all the platforms. I don't know what happened. So I don't know if y'all can see me or hear me, but it's all screwed up. And as of right now, nobody wants to fix it. Who does have access to the radius files? The the police chiefs and sheriffs. And then state officials, municipalities, and counties wonder why there's a shortage of LEOs. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not the main problem, but one of the problems is they created a completely screwed up system. And they there's no way they don't know it's screwed up now. And nobody's doing anything to fix it as far as I know. Ma- Matthew, that's a very good way of putting it. And that's exactly what's happening. Matthew said, I completely believe there is an effort to exclude good cops and only hire team players. And at some agencies, that's exactly what's happening. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some agencies in the state that are great, and they're not going to purposely screw anyone over, and they're definitely not going to hire a reject. They're not. But a lot of these smaller agencies for sure do it all the time, every day. And out of state money determines who our politicians are. So again, nothing's going to change. Is Alabama red or blue? I mean, no, red for sure, 100%. And I mean, I'm a Republican. I'm definitely not a Democrat. I'm definitely starting to lean more independent for sure. But I mean, I've been a lifelong Republican. That's not the problem. The problem is DC gets to choose who our politicians are. DC gets to choose who our governor is. We don't have a choice of governor in Alabama. DC said Tommy Tuberville was going to be your next governor, and I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. Literally nothing. And they'll pick our next one and our next one. Yes, Natalie, that is correct. Well, and as far as Tuberville being our next governor, the only thing I know for sure is that he got ran out of D.C. That's what happened. No one that's a United States senator gives that job up and to be a governor. That doesn't happen. What happened is he did something up there and they said, "You're done here. You can go back and be the governor in Alabama." Now, that could be a good thing. And that's what I'm hoping. I hope the reason they got rid of him is because he wouldn't play along with them. And that's a good possibility. And I mean, we'll find out once he gets in office, and we'll find out. But I hope that's the case. And again, that's a good possibility. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Matthew, and that's exactly what just happened in our Senate race between Barry Moore and Jared Hudson. The last month of that race, or well, during the runoff period, $12 million, $12 million just during the runoff period came in from out of state to Barry Moore for his campaign. 12 million. And he still barely beat Jared Hudson. But that's what happened. We let people from out of state determine who our next senator is going to be. Because there's still too many Alabamians that are just fucking ignorant and could not see that, even though we're showing it to them. I mean, Matthew, we'll agree to disagree, but I've never. Nobody will ever convince me that a sitting U.S. senator decides they want to be a governor and leaves that office for to be a governor. I mean, you're talking about night and day difference. The governor of Alabama doesn't have much power. A U.S. senator has tons of power. I mean, tons. A U.S. senator could, if they really wanted to, make a big difference. Governor of Alabama, again, they don't have tons of authority. Oh, Pat, Matthew's on. I'm on 3 different platforms live right now. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. So if I'm responding to a comment you don't see, it's on one of the other platforms. Our votes don't matter. It's who they want, and they will fix anything to make it look like they won. No, I mean, I think the votes matter. It's just people are people are ignorant, and good campaigns know how to campaign. Again, if you have enough money, I mean, we just proved that in Alabama with that Senate race because Jared Hudson would have won easily if all that outside money hadn't come in at the last. Because again, he still almost won. But don't quote me on the numbers. I think Jared Hudson's campaign spent, I think, around $2 million during the runoff, and Barry Moore's spent $15 million during the runoffs. Now, the money doesn't matter as much in small local elections, but in the larger elections like that, it does. But I mean, that was just proven in Walker County in the sheriff's election. The one, the candidate who raised the least amount of money by far, like it wasn't even close, won. So in those smaller local elections, the money doesn't matter as much. But in big state elections and especially national elections, it does. My dad is Gilbert Jean. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He used to be the assistant chief of police for almost 40 years. No, I don't think I know him. Wow, 40 years. That's a long time. Oh, and Jasper? Yeah, I don't think I knew him. But yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, Matthew. And like I said, I mean, Alabama almost did. We almost overcome it. It just, again, I don't understand the amount of people that didn't see what was happening. He said he couldn't be a Christian and work at that police department. That's not good. It's not good at all. All right. Let I've been on for over 3 hours. I'm gonna head out for the night. Oh, I should have brought this up earlier. More than likely, and I'll put something out officially early this next week, but more than likely this will probably be my last live on a Friday night for a while. I hate to announce this and it not happen, but I think it's going to happen. So I'll go ahead and announce. So we'll still do our Monday nights and Wednesday nights 8 p.m. Central, and Wednesday nights will be exclusively on YouTube. But instead of Friday nights, I'm going to be live on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central. But I will be joining Neely and Whitney with Murder Creek Media on their live every Thursday night. We still got some details to work out, but I think it's going to happen more than likely for sure. So, I think the first night will be this next Thursday. So, but again, I'll put out an official announcement and post and everything when I get all the details worked out. But I'm really excited about that. I like them. They're awesome. They have a legit operation going. Really cool stuff, and I'm excited to get to join them once a week and talk about crimes. So, but again, I'll put it all out when I get all the details worked out. But I will definitely see y'all back Monday night at 8 p.m. Central on all the platforms. And I'll talk more about it then as well. Thank you, Candace. I really appreciate that. Don't think he wants to look into Coleman. Have you sent me stuff on them? I know you sent me some stuff, but I haven't looked at it. But I'll check it out. But yeah, I will see y'all back Monday night. Again, please go, and especially the last two podcasts, especially the last one that I did on Timothy Vest Benton and Judge Samuel Junkin in Fayette County. Please share that out, repost it, comment on it, like it. All that stuff helps it get pushed out. And again, you can find that on all the platforms I'm on. If you have an issue finding me on any of the platforms, you can go to our website, agentdbaker.com, and I have links to all the platforms I'm on there, and just click on them. If you have a question for me or any information or interested in being a guest on the podcast, go through the website, agentdbaker.com, and there's a contact button on there. You can't miss it. Click on it. It's very simple. Put your name, email address, and a message. And any information you ever send me, I will never, ever repeat your name to anyone. We take that very serious. So you don't have to worry about, no matter what you tell me, I'm not going to repeat your name. So you can feel assured to send me any information that you can or want to, and you don't have to worry about me telling anyone that you sent me that information. So that's one of the ways that really helps us when getting tons of information from different sources, inside information and things like that. And so, again, that's one reason I take it so serious, that you will never be found out. I will never repeat your name to anyone, not the police, no one. You will always stay completely anonymous, because if I ever violated that trust with anybody, then nobody would ever send me any information. I'm not going to do that. And I understand that. So feel free to do that. But I will see y'all back Monday night. I hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend, and be safe. I want to put you onto a brand that supports the people who run toward the stuff everyone else runs from. And this is Deemed Fit, built by first responders for first responders, cops, firefighters, EMS, medics, dispatchers, military, people who move fast and carry weight. Deemed Fit makes gear for that life. Nothing extra, nothing fake. Apparel that works hard and feels right. But here's the part that made me want to work with them: the stigma breaking collection. Every piece carries a message. Are you okay? A simple question that opens doors most people are too afraid to walk through, because in this world, we lose too many of our own to the things nobody talks about. Wearing this line starts the conversation, and a portion of every purchase goes to mental health nonprofits serving first responders and veterans. Now to the gear itself, because I'm not putting my name on something that falls apart. Most gym stuff dies fast, not just the fabric, the fit, the feel, the way it holds up when you're actually pushing. This is built for the opposite of light cardio, extended shifts, strenuous training, the sessions that wreck cheaper gear. Reinforced seams that stay put, moisture wicking fabric that works fast, a fit that moves with you. No bunching, no restriction. Training days, off days, it covers it all. This isn't just gym wear. It's stuff you'll actually live in. And I love that they lead with mental strength, not just physical. Their mental health apparel carries a message we all need to hear more often. You are not alone. That's mental toughness with real meaning behind it. Pride, purpose, service, sacrifice, and resilience worn on your chest. Here's how you support it and save. Click the referral link in the comments for 10% off your entire order. Or use my code Derek Baker, all one word, DEREKBAKER, at checkout for 15% off. Hey guys, you all know how health conscious I am. I haven't had a single carbonated drink in over 20 years because I'm extremely careful about what I put into my body. So when I tell you I'm partnering with Dubby, you know it's the real deal. I will never partner with any brand that I don't use myself. Now, Dubby is zero sugar, jitter free, crash free, no artificial dyes or colors, none of that garbage. Just clean energy that actually tastes incredible. I've been drinking it every day and I'm genuinely impressed. If you want to upgrade your energy too, use my code Agent D Baker for 10% off. Link in bio. Go be better with me.